Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of The Casual Corner. Today I will be profiling for you Buster Blader Pendulums. While the idea for this deck is not necessarily new, I've been tweaking the ratios of various cards, and I feel like I've gotten it to a point where I feel like it's fairly consistent. So with that out of the way, let's go ahead and get started. So to start off, I run 3 of the OG Buster Blader. He himself does nothing. He's just there so that you could fuse with him. And he's there to be the face of the deck. I run 1 of the new Buster Bladers. At first glance, he may seem like he's a good card as he has a Raigeki effect, but he's actually really bad. The reason why he's bad is because he's only considered Buster Blader while on the field or in the graveyard. Konami could have easily made this card good by simply making him Buster Blader all the time. If he was Buster Blader all the time, the combo would be you normal summon Buster Whelp, search for him, tribute Buster to summon him, and that's how you would get him out. But for now, the only way to get him out is if you tribute summon with 2 monsters, God forbid, or you pendulum summon it, which is the preferred method. Next, we run the main searcher for the Buster Blader cards, Buster Whelp of the Destruction Swordsman. And my favorite card of the archetype is Dragon Buster, the Destruction Sword. His effect is, while he's attached to a Buster Blader, your opponent cannot special summon from the extra deck, which is a really nice lock. Also, he has an effect where if you already maybe use your normal summon and pendulum summon and you have a Buster Blader on field, you could attach this monster to him. And while he's attached, you can activate his effect to special summon him as a tuner, then synchro summon him and Buster Blader to make Buster Dragon. And pretty good. Then for my Performapal engine, I run 3 Pendulum Sorcerers. I love this guy. So because we run a mishmash of different pendulum scales, I primarily use him to pop the scales that don't match to set up my play. So let's say I have a Magician and a Performapal on my scale, I would pop the Performapal to maybe load up my scale with Magician so I can use their effects. Also, he helps me power through my deck and grab the draw power that I need. Next, of course, I run 3 Performapal Odd Eyes Unicorn. He's pretty much searchable by everything in this deck, and he's a scale 8, which is really nice. Next, I play 1 Guitartle because I really love Pot of Greed. Of course, goes with him, Lizardraw. Next, I run Joker because he searches all of the Odd Eyes, all of the Magicians, and all of the Performapals. Unfortunately, the only problem I have is he requires a normal summon, and a lot of times I use my normal summon for Buster Whelp. Monkeyboard, 1 card scale, awesome. Odd Eyes Light Phoenix, searchable by Sky Iris. I guess pretty much all your searchers can search him, and he's the low scale equivalent for Unicorn for now. Next, for my Magician engine, I play 3 Dragonpits, high scale. His Pendulum effect, also really nice. You ditch a card, or you ditch a pendulum monster rather, and to pop a back row. Then I run 2 Oafdragons. I really like Oafdragon. It lets me recycle pendulum cards from my extra deck back to my hand so I could reuse maybe this guy's effects. Also, he's a level 6, so usually I synchro with him and a Buster Whelp or a Dragon Buster to make Meteorburst. Next, I run 1 Dragonpulse as the low scale, searchable off Pendulum Call, and very rarely do I use the effect to destroy monsters. I kind of want to keep my opponent's monsters on the board so I can swing over them with the Buster Blader Fusion. Then 1 Wisdom Eye. Sadly, we only have 1 Wisdom Eye. I primarily use him as a way to just thin out my deck a little bit. And finally, the last monster I play is 1 Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon. Fortunately, in this deck, the scale 4 is actually fine because I don't Pendulum 4, or rather, I don't aim to Pendulum 4 that often. I really want to Pendulum 7, get up my Buster Bladers, and he himself is level 7, so it lets me go into my rank 7 plays. I could synchro with him to make Buster Dragon, so pretty good. Then off to my spells, I run 2 Emblem of the Dragon Destroyers, searches out my vanilla Buster Bladers. And if the new Buster Blader is in my graveyard, he's considered to be Buster Blader, so this can grab him out of the graveyard as well. 3 Pendulum Calls, awesome card, lets me search for my scales, so this usually helps thin out my deck and get my plays going. Then I play 3 of the Buster Blader fusions. So of course this is such a trolly card. When you have Buster Dragon on the field, all your opponent's monsters are dragons, so you just fuse with it to make the Buster Blader fusion. Then I run 2 Sky Iris, pretty much my favorite field spell at the moment. It lets me pop my scales when the scales aren't, the levels don't match, and lets me search for a Odd Eyes card. And finally, 1 Odd Eyes fusion to summon out Odd Eyes Vortex Dragon. He's a great card, and I only need to run 1. Okay, that makes up my main deck. Now on to my extra deck. I run 2 of the Buster Blader fusions. I very rarely find that I will go through all 2, so I feel like 2 is enough. Then I run 1 Odd Eyes Vortex Dragon. This card has a lot of utility, just based because his on-summon effect is he gets to bounce a monster, and of course he can negate an effect by sending a Pendulum monster from your extra deck face up on your extra deck back to the deck. So he can bait out a lot of back row. So that does it for all of my fusion monsters. And for my synchro lineup, first I run 3 Buster Dragon. He's alright, but he pretty much makes the deck run in terms of Buster Blader deck. You make him, he turns all of your opponent's monsters into dragons, and once per turn, if you do not control a Buster Blader, you could special summon a Buster Blader from your graveyard. And finally, on your opponent's turn, you can attach one of the Buster Whelps from the graveyard to a Buster Blader monster you control. And then for my generic rank 8s, I play 1 Omega and 1 Scarlight. For my level 9, I play Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss. This card is great, and the fact that this deck can actually make it. So usually I have Buster Dragon on the field, and during my opponent's turn I would attach to it a Dragon Buster, and then on my turn I would special summon him and synchro using the tuner and my Buster Dragon to make Abyss. And his effect is he could, target one face-up card and negate its effects. And of course, he's a whopping 3,200 attack, so pretty good. And for my level 7, I run Odd Eyes Meteorburst Dragon. I don't make this too often. I usually just use this as fodder for Odd Eyes Fusion. And on the rare occasions where I go for, what's that one guy? Absolute Dragon. If Absolute Dragon gets sent to the field, I could special summon this guy from the extra deck. And finally for my level 5, because I run quite a lot of level 4s in my deck, I felt like I should toss in level 5 just in case. And Ally of Justice Catastor felt like he was pretty good. I rarely make him though, because I don't feel like I need to. And now for my Xyz monsters, I run Odd Eyes Rebellion Dragon. I never make him. He's purely there for Odd Eyes Fusion. Next, Big Eye, of course, one of the best rank 7s. Absolute Dragon, also pretty useful. And finally, my last Xyz monster is the handy dandy Castel. So that does it for my Buster Blader deck profile. If you guys have any comments or have any suggestions, leave them in the comment section below. And if you like videos like these, please like and subscribe.